Hey Batch Commanders, Jamie Z here with part 2 of printing your Steven Slate drums down to audio tracks. So in the last video we made our preset. So let's load up that preset with this one button here. We got our SSD drums. Next thing we want to do, make sure our link timeline and edit selection is on, and make sure our keyboard focus is on. Also, you want to go to your bounce to disk and make sure import after bounce is on. Then we go grab a drum groove, toss it in there. Alright, then we want to start mixing this thing. So let's put a couple plugins on. Kick drum, throw some on a little snare drum here. Alright, now I want to mute all of these tracks, and we're going to tell Batch Commander to go through one by one and unmute these for us. So let me show you what it's going to look like. First thing, it's going to scroll down to the kick track, unmute the kick, bounce to disk. Tab is going to take us to the naming part, where if you're on Pro Tools 10, you want to hit enter instead of tab. Then you go type in the name Slate, spacebar. We'll just call it kick. Return starts to bounce, and this is our delay time here of 10,000 milliseconds, which is 10 seconds. So if you need longer, you just repeat it 6 times for 1 minute, 12 times for 2 minutes, 18 for 3 minutes. 10 seconds should be fine. Return imports after bounce. Shift M is going to mute the track it just imported because we don't want that kick bleeding back to all the other tracks. Then we're going to scroll back to our kick aux, and we're going to mute that and make that inactive. Then we're going to scroll down 2 tracks, unmute the snare, bounce that, tab, call that snare. Return starts to bounce. This is our delay time. Return imports after bounce, and then mutes the track. And then we just keep running the same sequence, and all you have to do is change the name and change what track to scroll to. And it's going to be every other track, 2, 4, 6, and 8. So there's 6, 8, 10. And now we get to the end, just made the last track inactive. We want to hide inactive tracks. Alright, let's run it. SSD print unmutes the kick, paste the name in the kick, bounces to disk, gives us our 10-second delay time before it'll import. Then it'll mute the track that it just imported. We'll go back to our aux, mute that, make it inactive, and it'll go to our snare track. Bounce that down, 10-second delay, import after bounce. Then it's going to mute that track, scroll to the snare aux, mute that, make it inactive. Now it's going to go to the hi-hat and run the same pattern. Import after bounce, mute the track after the bounce, go back to the hi-hat aux and mute that. Now we got our toms. It's going to run the same thing, import after bounce, mute the track, go to the toms, make that aux inactive. Cymbals, import after bounce. Make the cymbal track inactive. Go to our overheads. Import that after the bounce. And you can see our names coming through. Slate hi-hat, tom, cymbals. Finally, we got our rooms. So it's going to import. It's going to make the room track inactive, the room aux. And now it's going to hide all of our inactive tracks. We unmute these here, and now we got our groove all printed out for us. Pretty cool, right? Hope you guys dig it.